Hi everybody, thanks for tuning in to another video on TK's Tech Corner. Today is no introduction to this day, the 5th of June, Nintendo Switch 2 launch day. I've just picked mine up from my local Currys at 9 o'clock this morning. I managed to get a second in the line, and so I didn't have to wait too long. I'm not even going to waste any time on this. I'm just going to start opening it while I'm talking. I was very, very excited for this. Been waiting for this console for a very long time. I want to open it up, share the experience with you guys, and just talk through my experience as I unbox it as a consumer and set it up and just see what it's all about. So, what, 6-7 years since the original one, I think it's been. I can't remember exactly how long. The boxing experience is this. We've got an outer package, which is just nothing more than a cardboard sleeve. We had a couple of seals on it, which I've just cut through, and a bit of artwork. I went for the bundle. I've got a couple of bundles coming, so this is the first one that I've received today. The second one should be on its way. Mario Kart bundle, where Mario Kart works out a lot better value wise than it does if you buy the physical copy. But that being said, it's not necessarily a bad thing to get a physical copy. Make sure I open this the right way. I was just about to drop everything out. There it is. Wow, it's gorgeous. It's huge. My first thought when I picked this box up from the shop, when the cashier handed it to me, was how heavy it was. This thing is seriously heavy. And oh my gosh, that's beautiful. This thing was seriously heavy. I don't know what the weight of the box is, but I was thinking, is that really a handheld in there? What is in this box that makes it so heavy? But then it's not a small console. And I'll be honest, probably not one that I'm going to be traveling with too much. Now, I think I've just had a code exposed there, but it's a Switch 2 Mario Kart download code. By the time you've seen this video, I would have already downloaded it, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem for me. Just going to hide that quickly. Now what you see here is some paperwork. In the box we've got the rails for the Joy-Cons so that you can, well, this is the mouse thing, isn't it? Mouse and controller mode. HDMI cable, a nice thick HDMI cable. I'm guessing this is a HDMI 2.1 specification cable at least. It doesn't say on the box. Sorry, it doesn't say on the packaging. So I'll just leave that in the box and put all of this stuff aside for now. I'm going to get the rails out. I might not need the HDMI cable for this video because I'm not going to be connecting it to a device. Well, I might do. Let's see. There we go. Let's get that aside for a second. What else is in the box? So we've got this is very, very, bring back memories of the original one. We've got the actual, I guess, the adapter to convert the two Joy-Cons into a full controller. And that does feel quite nice, actually. I like the deep grips on the back. So I think that'd be a good experience using that. I didn't bother picking up the Pro controller. They had it in stock, £75. You know how many controllers I've got because you've seen the unboxing videos and reviews of all of them. I suspect that a lot of the controllers I've got, including new ones which I haven't even had a chance to review yet, will have the same, if not better, functionality. Minus probably the dedicated C button than the Pro controller anyway. So I didn't bother going for the Pro controller right now. However, if you want to see me get the Pro controller, do a review of it, compare it to the original one, let me know and I'll do that for you. USB-C to C cable. We've got a power brick here as well, which is just like a standard phone charger now. The power rating on this thing, if I put this close, you'll hopefully be able to see it, is, what have we got there? 5 volt as power delivery, so you can see all the different amp outputs there. So 503, we're getting up to 60 watts by the looks of it on that. So pretty beefy charger. There you go. That's nice and clear now. So you've got 5, 9, 15, 20 volts at 3 amp. And you can see the equivalent power rating for each of those voltages. That will switch itself to whatever it needs. And then the actual dock. Now that is meaty. It looks like a bit more of a bit of kit than the original one did. Still feels a bit plasticky, I'm not going to lie, but ultimately this is what makes this thing into a home console and allows you at the same time to just pick it up and move. Now one thing that's interesting, and Nintendo have not learned a lesson from this, is it seems to be hard plastic inside, so I don't know what that means for protection of the screen. The last one I actually modified and I put some felt pads inside to protect the device from getting scuffs, because there were complaints about screens getting scratched in the original Switch one when it came out. There is absolutely nothing else in the box, so I'm just going to quickly get this out of the way. I'm going to get this out because it's the main event. We'll leave the paperwork there just in case we need it. Let's get this thing out of the package. We'll start, before we turn it on, we'll just do some comparisons of this versus the original one. So first things first, that is an absolutely gorgeous, whatever size display is, 8-inch or whatever it is, I can't even remember now, I'm just too excited. The kickstand at the back there, I'm going to put that down for a second. We're going to get the Joy-Cons out. We're going to put this thing together. Before I put it on the console, I'm just going to put it on the controller. So these things have got magnets, so they should slide into place. That little black thing there is a guide yet to, I guess, tell how long that's going to last before snapping, but they should really just hopefully snap into place, and it does. And you've got a fairly comfortable controller there, I'm not going to lie. It would have been nice if they had rounded these edges off, because your I guess this part of your hands rest on there, and it would have been nice if it was a little bit more curved. But overall, that's comfortable. It's a nice size, and I think there's going to be a pretty decent gaming experience with that. I spent a long time playing the Nintendo Switch, the original one, with the actual Joy-Cons mounted in the similar rail that came with the one, and I'll be honest, it was a really comfortable experience. That's personal, right? No analog triggers yet again, so we're still getting just standard digital sort of buttons for the triggers as well as the bumpers. They feel really nice. This thing here on the back is to release the controller from the grip. It effectively just pushes it away, so it releases the actual magnetic grip. Otherwise, the magnets feel pretty firm, and I think because you've got this thick lip here that goes in, it feels quite sturdy. It's not wobbling around either. So now let's get these onto the actual console. I like the sound it makes when it locks into place. They feel quite sturdy. There's very, very little wiggle, if any, to be honest. You can probably see that there's... I'm going to compare it to the Switch one. I'm going to say the same sort of wobble as the Switch one. Let's work our way around this gorgeous console before we turn it on. So on the bottom, we've got a USB-C port. We've got 2 fan vents to take probably for air intake. On top, we've got the outlet. And we've got another USB-C port. It's nice to see 2 ports now. So whilst you're charging on the bottom, you can still connect an accessory on the top. Or probably even whilst you're on the go, you can have 2 accessories connected, 1 power adapter and 1 something else. We've still got a 3.5mm headphone jack. Check them out. Legendary. Power button, volume button, same as pretty much the old Nintendo Switch there. And then we've got a game card slot for games over there. I think the game card slot is exactly the same. And then over here somewhere, probably under the kickstand, we're going to have a micro SD slot. And that is right there. Now, just before we go any further, and I am excited to turn it on, but when I do, I'm going to forget about everything else in the world, is I'm just going to get the original switches up quickly. Right, original switches. OLED. And then this was the first ever Switch. And this was my first ever one that came out on release day. Still works absolutely perfect. Never frozen, never crashed, never died on me. Very, very reliable bit of hardware. You can see overall the design features are the same, right? We've got the speakers there. We've got the vents on the top, the vents on the back here, where they're on the bottom in the new console. SD card slot position, volume, power. They've made it all feel very, very familiar, which is not a bad thing at all, right? They've added the C port on top. Overall, the unit feels like an upgraded version. It just feels like, well, is the next generation of the Switch, right? But the kickstand, so the original kickstand in this thing was, as far as I'm concerned, just an oversized SD card slot cover, because I'll be honest, it didn't really function as a kickstand for me. You did a bit of touching and it kind of just dropped over. If you were lucky, it even popped off and gave you a little challenge to clip it back in place again. So to me, this was just an oversized SD card cover. I never used it as a kickstand. It was annoying at best. I actually used the case to stand it up and play, because the case had a little, I guess, configuration that allowed you to pop it up. Then came the OLED, and they adopted what I call the Microsoft Surface style stand. Went back quite far, complete 3 degrees of movement there. it literally, you can fix this in any place. It was stable, it was functional, and it still provided cover for the SD card, which is there. So this was, in my opinion, a really, really good solid stand, and actually allowed you to use this in some sort of tabletop mode. Now, let's look at the new implementation. So this is the new implementation, right? And obviously it's bigger, because you can see it's bigger. It feels like it's metal. I don't think it's plastic. Hard to tell. Definitely feels like metal. Feels solid. But have a look at this. Same. It's going back roughly the same as the OLED switch. Let's just compare them side by side. So we've got the same setup in terms of you can move this freely. Looks roughly the same to me. Yeah, there you go. So you're getting the same angle going back. This thing will, if I prop it up on the desk, they're literally exactly the same going this way. So the angles of play and viewing angles are exactly the same as the OLED. So if you want to know how far back it goes, you hopefully now have the answer to that question. SD card slot, you can see it's labeled for the new SD card. So this is SD card Express, and I think these are going up to very high transfer rates now. So I think around 800 megabytes per second, which is extremely fast for an SD card. I can't remember the exact specifications of them all, but they are fast, which is great for, I guess, when you're downloading large games at large speeds and just high transfer speeds. Load times from SD cards should be a lot faster, which is going to be very, very important if you're using that to expand your storage. I think that's a microphone there as well. And now I think we need to just get on and turn this thing on. So are we ready? First turn on of the Nintendo Switch 2 on this channel. There is familiar Nintendo logo. There was a firmware update released, I think it was 2 days ago. 2nd of June was the last update on the original Switches. And that was probably, I think that was for some bug fixes. Listen to the music. Got a nice little beat going on there. English UK, Europe. I'm going to turn the volume down a little bit now. Let's just go there 1 second. Important information. Please read information document carefully. No, we don't want to. Internet setting. Let's get this thing connected to the internet quickly. Right, I've just entered my password. It's connecting, and it is now connected, as you can see there. Good. Okay. System update it will now be downloaded. You can listen. Oh, it says you can continue setup. Okay, so we'll do that. We'll continue setup. Our time zone. You can use Nintendo Switch 2 console variety of play styles to suit. Yeah, we know that. Talks about the kickstand. The AC adapter can be connected to the top of the console. How cool is that? Now, depends on your preference. Do you like the cables that way, or do you like them that way? Doesn't matter. You've got both options now. Shows you how to detach the console. So you just, that button I showed you, that trigger there, is showing you to push that and detach, and then completely remove and put it back again. It's asking me to do it for both of them, so I'll just do it. Okay. You can play the console connect to a TV. Do you want to connect it now? No, we'll do later because we're recording a video, Nintendo. View attachment guide. The attachment guide is effectively this thing here. So let's quickly take a look at the inside of the Joy-Con, where it's got the optical sensor for the mouse. You can see that there. If I hold it close enough, it might focus. You can see that right there. It looks like my Logitech mice, and it works like that as well. And the idea is that the rails here will clip on. They've got mouse pads on the bottom of them like a normal mouse has as well. This will clip in like so. There you go. That's in place, right? So I don't think we need any more details on this. It releases, everything releases with this here, as you can see. Skip. Okay, you can switch between playstyles whenever you choose. We know this is all coming from the Switch 1. Ready to start system update. Let's just let this update quickly. Right, update's done. It's back on. It's asking if I want to transfer data. For now, I'm going to do don't transfer data. Continue without performing system transfer. You will not be able to perform one later. Interesting. So I don't think I want to do that because I want to just sign in with this and carry on. I guess, you know, I've got the cloud save data and stuff. So what I'll do is I'll just do continue, right? And see what happens. It's time to add a user. I'm going to add my Nintendo account ID. I should be able to do that from my phone app, I think. Scanning a QR code maybe. Yep. Just going to pause that quickly. Right, so that's signed into the account now. So that process is very easy. You scan the QR code on your phone, it signs in on your browser or redirects to your browser. You log into your Nintendo account, gives you a verification code, you enter it and you're done. So I'm going to skip that for now. More users can be added. We don't need to add anyone else right now. I don't need to worry about parental controls for now. We've got a section talking about the different SD cards now. The Express SD card. If you have a micro SD Express memory card, insert it. So I don't have one for now. Skip. And setup is complete. That's a nice and quick setup. Literally takes 2 to 3 minutes and you're good to go. Nice. Okay, so what we're going to do obviously is we're going to go and let's go. I think is it Nintendo Switch Online to redeem codes. Let me just quickly find where that is. So I'm me connecting online. Switch online. Welcome to Switch Online. Pay service is designed to enhance your get Switch 2. I do have a Switch Online plus the expansion subscription. You can see that there. So that's cool. We've got a bit of time left on that. So I think what I want to do is effectively redeem a code, right? So let's quickly do this and get Mario Kart downloaded. Right, so I've just signed into the eShop here with my account. You can see all that content coming up there. You've got new releases coming soon, etc. This is where we redeem the code that we've got for Mario Kart, the one that I displayed earlier. All right, code's been entered. It brings up Mario Kart World. You can see that there, and I'm going to redeem it. And now, hopefully, it's going to start downloading. So you can check the download status on the home menu. So let's go to the home screen and see how that's progressing. All right, new virtual game card has been added. About virtual game cards, this is that whole new thing that they released in an update after the actual Switch 2 presentation around virtual game cards. So I think they can be associated with, so what did it say? In order to load virtual game cards, this console will need to be paired with T's console. Show below, the pairing process only needs to be completed once. Let's cancel this for now. Right. So I'm going to have to navigate how to work with multiple old Nintendo Switches, the OG ones here. There's a light one kicking around somewhere as well. So just to make sure that we've got the ability to use games across them all. So now Mario Kart World is downloading. I'm going to let this download. While it downloads, let's just do some size comparisons of this thing to some other consoles. So in case you have got one of these consoles, this really gives you a good size comparison here, right? We've got the Switch 2 here, and then at the bottom here, the ROG Ally X. You can see width-wise, they're roughly the same. Steam Deck has always been a bit wider there just due to the controller layout, which, by the way, I actually really like. I think it's most comfortable. But there you go. You can see that this is really in big boy territory now, right? This is the size of PC handheld gaming sort of territory. The screen on here is larger than both of these. I think this is coming in at 8 inches. Again, can't remember the exact size. But what's important to note here is the thickness. So Steam Deck had a really nice grip layout where the bulk was in the grips, but ultimately the actual console was really slim. It had a very nice profile. This has got the slimmest of them all, where like the original Switch, they've maintained a mostly flat design apart from where the triggers are, and you end up resting the console on your fingers here whilst the rest of the console stays quite well balanced. It's light overall, I'll be honest. And then you've got the ROG Ally X, which is obviously the thickest of them all, but this has got a grip on there, so it's a little bit chunkier anyway than it actually is. So that gives you an idea of size. Again, from portability perspective, then this in a case can probably slip into your bag if you get a really slim case without using too much room in the bag. But overall, I tend to not carry these larger consoles around. I actually prefer just traveling with a Switch Lite because it's easier to get in the bag, doesn't take much space, and you can generally just keep it with you. So there you go. That's the size comparison done. Mario Kart is nearly downloaded. Once it's downloaded, we'll fire it up. So whilst Mario Kart is downloading, I'm just going to go through some of the actual system settings here. It's mostly the same as the original Nintendo Switch, I think. Here we've got flight mode, which is going to stay off, otherwise it will disturb the download. Screen brightness is not set to the brightest by default. Turning that up makes a massive difference. I'll leave that bright there for now. And then what else have we got? Bluetooth audio. So now, I don't know if we have the limitations of connecting Bluetooth headphones. It does up to 2 wireless controllers can be connected while using Bluetooth audio. So that's nice. Okay, cool. Internet settings there. What else have we got here? So 1 second. Let's just quickly. So parental controls, accessibility. So this is just to change text size, etc., to help people read the displays better. Data management, you can see I think 256 gig of onboard storage, of which a chunk of it is used for the OS, and then also now downloading Mario Kart, so some space is being used up there. You have options to move data around between console and SD card as before as well. And then what else have we got? Just user setup, controllers and accessories. GLGR buttons. You can map the GLGR buttons on. So this is a Pro controller. These are the ones on the grip. So I think this stands for grip left and grip right. So these are the ones we're used to seeing on most modern Pro controllers these days, or even non-Pro controllers now, to be honest. You've seen a lot of the videos I've done on third-party controllers. So Joy-Con to mouse control, so you can enable or disable mouse controls there. The mouse sensitivity. Okay, we haven't got switch to camera to mess around with today. Keyboard settings, so you can see you can definitely plug a USB keyboard in there for a text input. All sorts of stuff here, right? Pro controller wide communication. This option to yeah, why not? Let's enable that as well. Right, okay, cool. So you can swap A and B around. This is interesting. Now, one day when I'm using controllers that do not have A and B, when I'm using third-party controllers like the ones I review on my channel, I wonder if that will be a useful option to switch the A and B buttons around, because they generally have buttons, the Xbox layout, which is A, B, X, Y. So that's interesting. Audio settings here as well. So what have we got here? We've got settings for console speakers and console microphone. I'm just moving my microphone around so I can stand up a bit here. What else have we got? Audio output source automatic. TV sound, you can choose between surround sound or stereo. We'll leave that to automatic as well. Headphone virtual surround. If this option is enabled, the headphones are connected with virtual surround and will be used when playing games. Interesting, nice. Input microphone, so microphone sensitivity as well. Display settings, changing TV resolution, etc. You can see it supports up to 4K in docked mode. That's great as well. HDR options are here, RGB range, loads of stuff that we used to see in the old one. 120 Hz mode as well now, which is great for TVs that support it. And some other stuff. Let's change theme to dark mode. I prefer the dark mode. Notification settings. Okay, cool. Sleep mode. So we can see again more of the stuff we're used to seeing when maintain wide connection. That's probably quite useful if you want to download stuff. Right, okay, good. Let's leave that one. Best thing is when in docked mode, have a wired network cable and you're going to get the best experience, I guess, for download speeds as well. System update, dock update. Current system 20.1.1, that's the latest update that took place on the old Nintendo Switches a couple of days ago. Exactly the same firmware then for the most part of it. It was interesting. Console battery percentage, yes. Stop background charging around 90, yeah, why not? That preserves the battery somewhat, it tells you there as well. Optimized battery life, right? Automatic software updates, yeah, why not? And that is pretty much it. So that's the menu. Let's see how the download is going. We're nearly there. As soon as that's done, I'm going to fire this thing up. Whilst that's still downloading, I thought I'll do a quick tour of the dock. So the dock, we've got two USB-A ports on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, no ports, but it looks like there is a pass-through vent for the air circulation because it's going to be taking air in from the bottom. This back cover should open up to allow access to some ports as per the original one. So that clips off completely, which is nice. It's not dangling in the back whilst you're trying to connect stuff in. Connectivity layout looks most part the same. Now it's nice to see the LAN port built into the dock. Previously it wasn't. I'm pretty sure it wasn't. HDMI port and USB-C port for power. So that's where the power cable is going to connect to. And then HDMI out simply to connect it to a TV. Very, very simple. There's not much else going on there really. The dock's the lid goes back on like so. It's got a power light there to show whether it's connected to the TV or not. Effectively, if it's on or not, right? So while it's off, I can probably just drop it in there and see how this goes in. Now again, I am concerned as to whether or not it's going to actually cause damage. Whilst it's docked, because the power adapter is not in, it's not turn the display off because there's no power, so it's effectively not displaying the dock. It's not detecting the dock as being connected. C port is still exposed there, so you could probably still connect peripherals to the console and accessories to the console whilst we've got that in place, right? And the other thing I'm going to do just to verify is get an original game card and stick it in, and let's see what happens. So make sure that I haven't got something playing on one of the older original switches. Let's see what we've got here. Okay, so I think Zelda's in here. So Echoes of Wisdom. Let's pop that in. I don't know if this is compatible with the Switch 2 or not. They've changed the way this opens slightly, which is nice. There's a little thing to actually slide the cover up before you rock it back. The game carts are the same because that's clipped in, and you can see Echoes of Wisdom has come up. Wonder if I can start playing it. A new update is available. That was very quick, right? If I do downloading, it's paused because Mario Kart is downloading. Download this first. No, don't. Let Mario Kart download and then we'll test it out. What I can do meanwhile though is I can just start the software, see if it works. Start from scratch with new save data or download save data. I'm going to download my save data. Benefit of having the online subscription for what, 17 quid for the whole year. You get to save your data to the cloud and move it between consoles, which is fantastic. Right, again, because Mario Kart's downloading, it's not letting me download anything else at all. So on that note, I'm just literally going to leave this thing aside now and let Mario Kart finish. It is very nearly there. You can see that there. I'm finding loads of things to do whilst this thing is downloading. Pro controller. Let's test out the original Pro controller. This is the OG one on the Switch. So I'm going to just plug it in and see if it does a pairing itself. It should do. The lights come on. It's paired. And there's no reason why that wouldn't work. It's working absolutely fine. Now, the next thing to do might be to actually plug this dock into maybe a portable screen so you can see a bit of a bigger view here. So Mario Kart's finished downloading. I have connected this to a display just so you get a bit of a bigger picture and you can see how it works in docked mode. This external device is supporting HDR. I've killed my above floodlights just so that it doesn't drown out the picture too much. And hopefully you'll get a pretty decent picture when this thing starts up. Let's just talk about configuring the display here quickly. So it's saying it's detected that the device supports HDR. On the left is visible and the pattern on the right is not visible. This is to adjust the HDR settings of the display, right? So it's saying to adjust it until now you can see it differently to what I can see, to be honest. Still going, it's still going. Well, I think that's about right. It shows me, not really sure about that to be honest, but for now. So it's interesting, I can change the brightness of the display here as well. For the sake of the recording, I think that's going to look the best, so I'm just going to go with that for now. Okay. I'm just going to quickly change the display settings because I'm not too happy with that. Right, I think that's going to be the best recording mode. So I've got this set up quite nicely now. The colors are looking nice and popping. And let's get this on. So about virtual game cards, you'll need to load the virtual game card in this console. So let's do next. Right, so let me get the other light out because this clearly has to be done. Okay. So let's unpair. You may want to have to go through this, I don't know. It's probably because I've got the firmware on multiple switches. Alright, this is asking for the switch OLED. So let's see how this works. So let's get this on. It says he wants them to be close together, but I wonder if it uses Bluetooth or not. Right, open the virtual game card. So that is here. Start pairing. Excellent. Right. Not really sure about all this virtual game card business, to be honest. I'd rather just stick a cartridge in and play, or download a game and play. But there we go. Easy way of sharing content across consoles, I suppose, is I think is what it's supposed to be. There we go. That looks really, really nice. This is only 1080p. I'd love to see this on 4K display. Probably the most detailed Mario Kart we've ever seen. As always, the force feedback on, or the rumble on these controllers, right? This is the original one. The new one must be even better. It's just so spot on, precise. Let's just do Grand Prix. Let's just select Mario for the sake of this video. I'm just going to go with all default just to get going. I'm not going to waste too much time. Mushroom Cup. 50cc is probably going to be slow, right? But let's just do that to get some stars. Look at that. That is so detailed. Skip that to get going. I want to record a quick race and then I'll end this video because it's going to get too long otherwise. See if I... Oh, so I didn't get the boost launch there. Look at that. It's so smooth. This literally is just classic Mario Kart, but just a million times better. I don't know. Oh, I didn't get onto the rail, did I? I missed the rail. This is going to take some getting used to for some of the new features. See, the rail comes down there, so I could have done a rail grind, and I am doing a rail grind there. Oh, that's new. I don't remember having 3 red mushrooms before. Sorry, 3 red shells, 3 green shells, 1 red shell. Oh, so there was a shortcut that I could have potentially gone down there. Grinding on the rails. Hey donkey, Mario Bros. Oh gosh, that's from classic from the original Mario Bros on the NES. Did you see that poster on the side there? That single screen game. Let's see what we can get the drift up to. Can we get it to purple? Ooh. So I'm still drifting on this, well, grind. I'm building up my power slide. You can see it's gone up to... Let's see what happens when I finish this race in terms of driving to the next race. We've seen enough official footage about this stuff anyway, right? But it's always nice to see it. Blue shell. These courses are so wide open. Look at this. There's so much more going on around the actual main track area. You've got to really pay attention to, I guess, start uncovering all the snacks. Oh, gold mushroom. So yeah, someone had a gold shell behind me, so that would have. Oh, look. These dynamic levels are dynamic as well. So as the levels progress, you generally get things change. The enemies, etc., change around the track. Sometimes tracks start breaking up as you go on. You jump on a jump, you get a boost. Finished. Lovely. This thing is going to be crazy going forward. I tell you, absolutely crazy. I can imagine the expansions coming out for this. This is just the beginning. This game is, seriously, is the next Mario Kart. How cool. Next race. Let's just see what happens when I do next race. Does it take me to the next race itself? It does. I want to go into the open mode. I'm not going to finish this cup right now. I'm just going to quit this right now. I can do this again later. So I want to just do single player. Stay ahead and race it. So I think maybe I had to finish that, to be honest. I'm not going to bother doing it again, but I wanted to just do some sort of like a free roam. So maybe I have to finish that first. So I won't worry about that too much right now. Yeah, it looks like I've got to get through something before I can get to that sort of online play. Let's see how many people are online. First day just come out. We're in this country anyway, right? Race. Right. There's people online. So until then I can just drive around until I join the race. That's quite cool. Lost my hat. So it says I'm waiting to join a race. This could take forever, so I'm not going to wait for it, but no, bash through the barrier there. What's going on here with this fiery plant? Right, on that note, I'm going to end this video. Nintendo Switch 2 is here. look forward to more videos. I've got some accessories I'm going to review. Well, I've got one accessory. I've got a case. I'm going to do another video for that shortly. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have got any questions at all about this awesome new console from Nintendo, please ask them in the comment section below, and I'll try and answer them as soon as I can. And if you haven't already done so, well, if you enjoyed it, please leave a thumbs up, and if you haven't done so, please hit that subscribe button in the bottom right hand corner to support my channel. Appreciate the support. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.